I want to say call halal, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, and that's all praises to the Heavenly Father, who the world inwardly calls Jesus Christ. His real name is Yahweh Shah in the Hebrew. Right. And today I just want to talk about something, eating the right dinner, right, or eating the most important dinner of your life, because right now, amidst this so-called epidemic, this so-called plague that's going on, while we watch the Most High's judgments being poured out on this earth. A lot of people are flooding the grocery stores frantically trying to figure out what they're going to eat for dinner, for this so-called month of quarantine that's going to happen, right? But I don't really give a damn about this earthly food anymore. I seriously just honestly desire this spiritual, well, not spiritual, I desire this supper that Yahweh Shah has in place for us that's coming up. If we're faithful to continue to keep these commandments and be sincere in mind and in heart, and try to win souls. He says that he that's winning souls is a wise man, and we know that we keep these laws and it makes us wise. As long as we continue to be faithful and endure, we're going to eat this marriage supper of the Lamb. This is the most important meal that you'll ever eat. So forget about your damn canned beans, forget about the toilet tissue, forget about the chips and all the other things that everybody else is stocking up on. Feast upon this word of the Most High that he's already given us, and then we're going to feast. We're going to have that other Passover, right? We're going to have that marriage supper of the Lamb. So let's get this in Matthew 22. We're going to look at a parable that Yahweh Shah gave.
You want it from the top?
Yeah, from the top.
Okay. This is Matthew chapter 22 from the top. And Yahweh Shah answered, you want me to just say the regular name? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. And Jesus answered and spake unto them again by parables and said, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king.
So he's telling us, right, in this parable, what I'm about to tell you, this is what the kingdom is like. So if we want to know what the kingdom is like, we need to take heed to this parable, right?
It's like unto a certain king.
It's like unto a certain king. So we know that the king of the kingdom, right, is Yahweh.
Which made a marriage for his son.
For his son. Who's his son? Yahweh Shah.
And sent forth his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding.
So he sent for his servants. So now we're about to figure out what. Give me Revelation 19 and 7. All right.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 19, verse 7. Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his wife hath made herself ready.
So the marriage of the Lamb is come. Who's the Lamb? Yahweh Shah. What's the marriage? Us being joined unto him, right? And so this parable is about to explain to you what this marriage and what this marriage feast is all about, right? You got a precept?
Yeah, what's going on with it? This is 2 Corinthians chapter 11.
I was gonna get that later.
Okay.
So who's the servant? So we got Yahweh Shah. We understand that that's the lamb that Revelation is talking about. The lamb that's got this wedding feast prepared for us. Now let's see who the servants are that's going to be calling, or who's going to be bidding this certain group of people to partake into this. Give me Amos chapter 3 and verse 7. Whoever gets there first. We're about to see who these servants are.
This is Amos chapter 3 verse 7. Surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants the prophets.
His servants the prophets, right? So everything the Most High does, before he does it, he's not going to leave us in the state of oblivion. He's not going to leave his people in the state of oblivion. Now we know that there are certain things that the secret things just dwell with the Most High, but things that he wants us to understand, he's going to give it into the minds of the prophets, and then we're going to be out here in the streets and giving this food unto the sheep, right? So the servants are his prophets. Now give me Matthew 22 verse where you at?
Verse 3.
Yeah.
And sent forth his servants to call them that were bidden.
So he's sending forth his prophets to call them who's bidden. Who was bidden? What's another word for bidden? Called, right? Give me Isaiah 48 and 10. We're about to see who was called. We're about to see who was called to this marriage supper. The whole world, you listen to the Christian church, they're going to tell you that the whole world is called to partake into this feast. Nah, no strangers allowed. There's a lot of strange damn people out here. Probably like her. Right.
Isaiah 48 and 10. Behold, I have refined thee, but not.
I'm sorry, Isaiah 48 and 12.
48 and 45 and
48 and 12.
48 and 12. So Isaiah 48 and 12. Hearken unto me, O Jacob and Israel, might call.
Israel might call, might bidden. Israel is his bidden, right? So that's who is bidden to this marriage feast. Now, give me back to Matthew 22.
Matthew 22, verse 3. And sent forth his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding, and they would not come.
And they would not come. We always give our Lord, our God, a deaf ear, right? It's like, hey, come partake into this feast with me. Now, you know, when we try to bid and call our brothers and sisters that walk up and down the street, hey, bro, you want to feast on these words that the Most High gave you? Nah, I'm good. You know, just like brother Jake that just walked past, like, nah, the Bible ain't for me, man. You know, okay. Many call for your chosen, right?
It's in the same period. Verse 4. Again he sent forth other servants.
So now he's going to send forth more prophets, right? Hopefully that these prophets will get to these rebellious people.
Tell them which are bidden, behold, I have prepared my dinner. My oxen and my fatlings are killed, and all things are ready. Come unto the marriage.
Come unto the marriage. He done kill his oxen, his fatlings, and this goes to show you that there's going to be more sacrifice in the kingdom, right? Now give me Revelation 19 and 9.
I got another precept.
You got another precept?
This is Psalms chapter 23, verse 5. Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of mine enemies.
So the Most High, he's preparing that table right now while we're in the midst of our enemies, right? While we're in the midst of Babylon, man, getting oppressed, getting destroyed, getting gunned down, right? Worrying about how we're going to pay our bills, right? Which I ain't worried about no more. We're about to come to the end with all this, right?
And how's he doing that? Through us, right?
Exactly, through us.
Well, I'm going to read again. Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of Yahweh forever.
Forever. That's the goal. That's the mark, man. Like once, if we can make it through this parable, right? This parable that he's given us in Matthew 22, if we can make it through that in life, man, that's the pinnacle. That is the pinnacle, right? That's the terminal of this parable. Go back to Matthew 22.
Matthew 22 and verse 5. But they made light of it, and went their ways, one to his farm, another to his merchandise. And the remnant took his servants, and entreated them spitefully, and slew them.
And the remnant took his servants, took his prophets, treated them spitefully, and slew them. Somebody give me Acts 7 and 52. This is how they always treated the prophets, right? But there's no new thing under the sun.
This is Matthew 23 and 37. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets and stonest them which are sent unto thee. How often would I have gathered thy children together, even as a hen gathereth her chickens under her wings, and ye would not.
See? We would not. But they always destroyed the prophets, man. The very people that's trying to save your soul, the very people that just want to partake into this feast with you, with your Yahweh, man. But we treat them spitefully. The same way how we treat the prophets, we treat the men of the Lord, is the same way how we're going to treat our big brother Yahweh, right? So what makes you think you're going to be worthy to partake into that, right? Give me back to Matthew 22.
Matthew 22 and verse 7. But when the king heard thereof, he was wroth.
So when Yahweh heard this, he was wroth. Now what's he going to do?
And he sent forth his armies, and destroyed those murderers, and burnt up their city. Then saith he to his servants, the wedding is ready, but they which were bidden were not worthy.
So the same Israelites that was called to this marriage feast, they were not worthy. Give me Matthew 10 and 11. Matthew 10 and 11. They're not worthy.
This is the book of Matthew. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 11. And into whatsoever city or town ye shall enter.
And this is what we doing. We enter into all these. We got camps established and pretty much all over the world now, right?
Inquire who in it is worthy, and there abide till ye go thence.
And inquire who is worthy. Who is worthy to actually come and sup with the Lamb, right? We just can't have no regular Joe Blow. Well, the Most High, He's going to be filtering, right? He's going to be filtering out the wheat and the tares. He's going to be filtering out the just and the unjust, right? But it's our job to go ahead and come on out here and bidding whoever's going to listen.
Salat. Khan. Matthew 22, verse 9. Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, bid to the marriage.
And that's what we're doing. We're going out here into the highways and the byways, right? Faithfully, day in, day out. Corona, no corona, right? We're going to do it. Now give me 2 Corinthians 11:2. You know? Yeah, mask on, mask off, right? We have great examples of our forefathers in this Bible that has shown us the way, shown us what to do. And our beloved brother Paul, this is what he's done too.
This is 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 2. For I am jealous over you with godly jealousy, for I have espoused you to one husband.
He's been calling us to that one husband, to the marriage, right?
That I may present you as a chaste virgin to Hamashiach.
To a chaste virgin to Hamashiach, right? But now we done polluted ourselves, become whores, right? By spiritual fornication, making idols, making other gods in our hearts, making our family gods, making them our idols, making the worldly things our idols. When we just losing out on this great feast that we could be partaking in soon.
Verse 10. So those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good.
Both bad and good. So not just not just the good people, not just so-called the bad ones, but both of them.
And the wedding was furnished with guests.
So now give me Matthew 13:47. Right? Because this is also what the kingdom of heaven is like. But when Yahushua comes, he's going to be thrusting in that sickle, separating.
This is the book of Matthew chapter 13, verse 47. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net.
So the kingdom of heaven is like a net, right?
That was cast into the sea and gathered of every kind, which when it was full, they drew to shore and sat down, and gathered the good into vessels, and cast the bad away.
So the kingdom of heaven is like a net drawn into the sea, right? Just like us. We're out here in the sea of people, right? And we're fishing for men. While we're fishing for men, we're catching the good and we're catching the bad. But here it says that while they brought it up to shore, they're going to cast out some of the good fish over there and the bad fish over there, right? So when Yahushua comes, he's going to thrust in that sickle, separate the wheat, separate the tares, separate the just and separate the unjust, right? You're worthy for my Passover. You're worthy for this supper. You're not.
Oh, wait, there's more.
There's more.
Next one, verse 49. So shall it be at the end of the world.
So shall it be at the end of the world.
The angels shall come forth and sever the wicked from amongst the just, and shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth.
That's the second death. Yeah, we don't want that out. Lord willing, I'm a part of the elect. Lord willing, all of us are part of the elect. I want to see all y'all brothers up there. Man.
Lord willing. Hey, this is Matthew 22, verse 11. And when the king came in to see the guests, he saw there a man which had not on a wedding garment.
You got it? Oh, what you got? Yeah, you don't want to be caught without that wedding garment, man.
This is Revelation 19 and 8. And to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white. For the fine linen is the righteousness of saints.
That's it. That's the type. That's the. Give me Isaiah 61:10. That's the garments that you want to have on. Because as we read through, I think the next verse, he asked him, "Hey, how come you don't have on your raiment?" The man was confounded. He ain't had nothing to say. So we don't want to be dumbfounded when the Most High asks us, "Hey, where's your wedding garment?" No, man. Now is the time to be putting on that wedding garment, right? And Isaiah 61:10 tells you exactly what this wedding garment is.
This is the book of Isaiah. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 61, verse 10. I will greatly rejoice in Yahweh. My soul shall be joyful in my power. For he hath clothed me with
He's clothed me with the garments
of salvation. He hath covered me with a robe of righteousness, as a bridegroom decketh himself with ornaments, and as a bride adorneth herself with jewels.
Right. So what? So yeah, we're clothed with the robe of salvation, right? So when he comes, there goes our cloth right there. There goes our robe, right? And now he's bidden us. He says that was the bridegroom's attire.
All right. This is Zephaniah 1:8. And it shall come to pass in the day of the Lord's sacrifice that I will punish the princes and the king's children and all such as are clothed with strange apparel.
Wow. That don't need no breakdown. You got strange apparel, man. No strange thing is coming into the Most High's holy place. Let's finish it out.
This is Matthew 22 and verse 12. And he saith unto him, Friend, how camest thou in hither not having a wedding garment? And he was speechless.
He was confounded. Yahweh Shai just asked him a simple question. Where's your garment? We don't need that to be us, y'all. We don't need that to be us. He always given us everything pertaining to life and godliness in these scriptures, man. So there's no excuse for us not to have that robe on. That robe of righteousness, that robe of salvation, so we can partake into that heavenly feast.
Verse 13. Then said the king to the servants, Bind him hand and foot, and take him away, and cast him into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth if you ain't got that garment on, if you're not part of the elect, if you're unjust. What's up, brothers and sisters? How y'all doing? Y'all got a question? What you say?
Trying to pray to God and hey, do the word like everybody else.
Okay, so you believe in the Bible, huh?
Absolutely, 100%. No
Okay, okay, cool. Can you come up here so I can't really hear you real good? You doing all right today?
Good.
That's good, man. That's good. Yeah. So you say you just trying to pray amidst these times and everything, right?
It's scary times right now, you feel me?
Yeah, well, scary for the Gentiles, but for the Israelites, it's not scary for us, man, because we've been prophesying this thing since 1969, really even before then, right? Because all this stuff was already recorded and documented in the Bible, that these times will come. You know, there's no need for the most. Give me 2 Ezra 16 and 75, I believe. There's no need for us to be afraid, right? Because we've been doing, to the best of our abilities, you know, everything that the Most High has been asking us. Rehearsing the righteous acts, keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments, you know. Do you go to church?
Try to.
You try to? Okay, well, as you can see, churches don't close down, right? Now, you know, he said that, you know, these, basically run into your gods now, right? And we made a lot of these pastors our gods. I think that's in Isaiah 57. You know, we made a lot of these pastors our gods, right? But they're nowhere to be found when actual help is needed, when actual prayer and fasting is needed. We can't go in these churches anymore. Why? Because really the government owns them. 501c3, right? So whatever the government says, hey, y'all need to shut down, man. So we've all our lives we've been putting our hope and faith in them, but now is the time to be putting our faith in these scriptures, right? Because Psalms 91 tells us if we make the Most High our habitation, no evil thing, no evil plague shall come nigh our dwelling. It shouldn't come close to our dwelling. Did you get that in 2 Ezra for me? Okay, you got a precept?
Yeah, like my brother said, like my brother said, we're not really scared of this because it was already written that stuff like this would happen. Watch this. This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 3. I'm gonna jump down to verse 7. It says, "And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, or what shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the world?" See, end of the world. I'm going to jump down to verse 6. "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars." We see that with Iran and stuff like that. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences. Pestilences going into those diseases, like talking about coronavirus and all these other ones. And famine, just like when you go to the store today, it's all cleaned out and stuff like that. Oh, we see the Bible coming to life. That's why we're not worried about it, because Christ said right here, see that you be not troubled. Watch this.
That's a commandment by Yahweh Shai.
Yeah, by Christ. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these things are the beginning of sorrows.
That's right. Yeah. So with that being said, you know, we've already had the knowledge that all this stuff is going to happen. So really, we were anticipating it. We were prepping ourselves spiritually, mentally and physically, right? So now when it is here, we're like, okay, well, now we're just really digging deep into these scriptures, digging deep into prayer and fasting, and like he told us, he says, pray that you may be counted worthy to escape all these things, right? But even if it's his will for us to perish through whatever mechanism it is for us to perish, it's all right. He's still gonna get his glory, and that's what matters at the end of the day, right? That's right. Right. So yeah, like I said, there's no 2nd Ezra 16. Get that for me real quick. 2nd Ezra 16, and I want to say 75. Okay. Got it.
So 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 75. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt.
So be ye not afraid. Don't doubt, right? Why?
For God is your guide.
He's your guide. But is he everybody's God? We're about to find out whose God he is.
And the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith the Lord God.
So he's going to guide those who keep his commandments and precepts, right? And he, unlike the Christian church tells, of course, you know, we all know about the Big Ten, the 10 Commandments, but there's actually 613 of them when we read in the first 5 books of the Bible called the Torah, right? So when we keep his laws, statutes, and precepts, laws, statutes, and commandments, it's not Jewish, right? It's just a collection of books that was written by Israelites, right? And the term Jew just is from one of the tribes of Israel, of Judah, exactly, right? So it's an Israelite book. It was composed by Israelites for Israelites, to Israelites, right? But yeah, the first 5 books is giving you all the 613 commandments. And so those who are first, you got to be a part of that covenant, part of that seed line covenant, right? So let me ask you this. You're a so-called black man, right? And your father, is he a so-called black man? What about your grandfather? Okay, so there's a strong possibility that you might be an Israelite according to the Bible. Have you ever heard that before? You ever heard that before? Man, well, today is a blessed day for you, right? So do you see yourself on this sign?
In the names.
Any of the names?
No.
You're African American, huh? So-called African American. What's that first one right there? Judah. So you're more likely from the tribe of Judah. Right, and we know these things by prophecies, particularly in Genesis chapter 49. It tells you in the latter days that you'll be able to identify these people based off these descriptions, right? Yes. So with that being said, since let me show you a few things, right? Did you know that the Bible prophesied thousands of years before it even happened that we, so-called African Americans, so-called Judites, we will be taken into this land captive by the way of ships? You knew that?
No.
Okay. So somebody give me Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. Well, first, yeah, we'll get Deuteronomy 28, 68 first.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
With ships. He said he's going to bring us to Egypt again with ships. Now, you said that you went to church. Have you ever heard in church about the story with Moses leading the Israelites out of the land of Egypt? Okay. Well, this was that when he wrote that in Deuteronomy chapter 28. Yeah. But at first he had to lead the Israelites out of the land of Egypt, right? In order for them to go to the land of milk and honey, which was the Canaanite land, which eventually turned to land of Israel, right? But he wrote that after he led them out of Egypt. So this isn't talking about that time that they went to Egypt, right? You got a precept?
Yeah, this is Exodus chapter 20, verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
He already brought us out of the land of Egypt. This is what Egypt is for us.
Out of the house of bondage.
So Egypt is synonymous with with house of bondage, house of slavery, right? So now in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68, he says that he's going to bring us to slavery again, Egypt again. And when you read in the book of Revelation, it's telling you that this is a spiritual Egypt, right? Yes. So Deuteronomy 28, verse 68, we'll read it. Okay, brother.
And the Lord shall bring me into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
Let's start over. He was kind of distracted. I'm sorry, brother.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So he's going to bring us to slavery again by the way of ships, right? No other nation can say that happened to them, right? Except the so-called blacks, Hispanic, and Native Americans, right? And the Caucasian man can say that happened to them. The Moabite, well, the so-called Chinese man can say that happened to them. Only us, right? Nobody else can say that. They went into slavery by the way of ships. And this was prophesied thousands of years before this actually happened, right? So let's finish it off.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
We're not going to see this physical land of Egypt again.
And there you shall be sold unto your enemy.
You're going to be what?
Sold unto your enemy.
When we came over here, were we sold to our enemies? So who's our enemies? Ourselves? So we were sold to ourselves?
Nah, we were sold over the slave ships coming over.
Yeah, but we were sold to who?